Hey everybody, it's meteorologist Hutch Johnson, and as we take a look at hutchesweather.com, love to have you visit and give me your feedback. But we do have some showers and storms developing down the south out to the west as exiting showers push out to the east. What can you expect? We're going to show you where the thunder and lightning is heading and what you can expect right now in Hutch's Weather. But first, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want to tip their cap to first responders out there. Thanks for all that you do, and you can receive up to $400 off. Call Robert Gibbons Sons today with information on how they can help you with your mechanical needs. Robert Gibbons Sons, let them know that Hutch sent you. Okay, let's go straight away to what's going on the radar's forecast, hour-by-hour forecast, that is. And here's what we got. Now, this model, I'll show the regional view here. We do have a chance of a few showers working through Minnesota. And these out to the east could be strong because things got a little hotter with more sunshine there. Hi, Nathan. Good to have you on board. Look at the western part of the Dakotas and eastern Montana, though. Some energy releasing out of the Rockies will be pushing its way towards us. Hail, wind, and even a tornado threat as we go through. Now, this is midnight, and we're still fairly quiet in the FM area. Then overnight, moving out of the central Dakotas comes a batch of showers and storms that could be severe. And heading into the Pierre area, once again, some stout thunderstorms. Let's get closer into eastern portions of North Dakota as we go into the overnight hours. Now, these storms look to be hitting and pushing into the Devil's Lake Basin, the James River Valley by 3 a.m. And then as we continue our march toward the morning hours, we'll see these pushing into the Red River Valley between 4 and 6 a.m. There will still be a hail threat. So yes, hail and wind will be the main threats as we go through the overnight. But we cannot rule out some spin in those storms today. Hi, Jennifer. Good to have you on board. Thanks, Cheryl, for watching as well. I appreciate each and every one of you. As we head into the morning hours tomorrow, these storms will race across Minnesota. Now, backwards C-shape in Bemidji, we know what that means. Straight line wind potential in the morning with these storms as they blow across places like Hubbard County, Clearwater County, Bagley, Solway, all the way in toward Bemidji, and then Leech Lake area as we go into your hump day. So these storms could be fairly strong, and if folks are getting out there to begin their camping at Leech Lake, well, you know what I mean. Things could get a little bit rough around the edges. Know where there's a place to stay safe from severe weather. That is, again, Wednesday morning, bright and early. Those storms exit, and then in the afternoon with the heat of the day building, the best chance any showers and storms will be in South Dakota on the eastern side, southern and central Minnesota, although I can't rule out a couple moving through the western Dakotas. That's where it looks. What about the Carrington area? James is asking, and as we take you back in time, you can see Carrington on the map. We'll zoom right into your kitchen here, and this is when this model says the storms will have the best chance at firing up. There's no guarantee that we'll see as widespread of storms as these models show. There's no guarantee that it will hit an individual town like this model shows, but it does show that chance increasing as we head into the Carrington area. By the time we get to just post midnight or after midnight, they move through. Hail and wind will be the main threats out there. And let me go ahead and review with you what the Storm Prediction Center has updated here in the 3 o'clock hour for our risks today. As we zoom you back out to our regional view here from Montana and northeast Wyoming out there all the way across the northern part of South Dakota, extreme southern North Dakota, expands so as these move into the valley. Why? Because of that wind threat as we go into the late night and overnight hours. So shower and thunderstorms that form in this yellow area, it's a level 2 risk of severe weather, and that means several of these storms could be strong to severe. What are the threats? I'll show you those impacts as advertised graphically from the folks at the Storm Prediction Center. One of the main threats is gusty straight line wind. Now, before there was a significant wind threat with these storms. That has since been erased with their eraser. I think there could still be some stout winds. And then when we look at the risk for significant hail, that's all in the high country out there, rolling off the high plains. Tracy says 2.5 inches of rainfall today. Tracy, thank you for your report. Where exactly was that? You can remind us all. Thank you so much. Now, as we take a look at the tornado risk, here it is, right along the North Dakota, South Dakota border, the Montana border with Wyoming also, and then see it expand out as we go into places like Grand Forks and throughout most of Minnesota as we go through. We'll look at that a little bit more closely if someone has a question on that, and that is a look at the risk for tornadoes. Now, here's the risk for hail in the location where we could have some very sizable hail. and the chance thereof. Now, the brown area you see here, that's a 5% chance that within about 25 miles of any point we'll get some significant hail greater than an inch. Inside this area, we'll have a better chance, and that's a 30% chance of some hail out there. And we could have 1 to 2 inch diameter hail in those spots. And as these storms develop, we'll keep you apprised of that. And that wind threat going into the overnight hours here is definitely showing up in the same area as the hail. So moving out of Montana and Wyoming tonight, moving through the Black Hills and the Western Dakotas all the way out towards Grand Forks, Fargo, Brainerd, Bemidji, and the Virginia area. So that's what I want you to know. Now, the last couple of nights, we've had hit and miss storms across the area. It's been a long night of coverage watching these storms and kind of cutting in. Last night, not a lot of severe storms, but I did hear reports of some hail and some wind damage out there. So you can upload photos at hutchesweather.com to let us meteorologists know what's going on. Now, we'll take a quick peek at your day 2 risk and show you that as we head into tomorrow, I am so thankful for the fact that Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck, all the way out through Minot, Williston, and northwest portions of Minnesota, that risk for severe weather is low. Now, we could see garden variety thunder showers. That's what this flashy green is. This bright green that goes from Duluth, Thunder Bay across Lake Superior, that is a level 1 risk. It's called marginal, and that means 1 or 2 storms might be severe. 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1 inch diameter hail. But inside the yellow area, that's that level 2 threat. More widespread thunderstorms that could be severe, and that's what we have going on. Let me answer and address a couple of your questions. Thanks so much for watching on my YouTube channel. I'll ask you, I'm going to throw out a big old howdy to all of you on the YouTube channel out there. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're watching on the TV or if you're watching on the device. Hello, Linda says from Baudette. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at questions. Looks like East Grand Forks. Barbara says, thank you for the updates. You're welcome. So Bismarck okay tomorrow? Brenda looks good in Bismarck as well. There will be a chance for some nighttime showers and storms moving out of Montana. But as you can see on this map, at this point, we're not expecting them to be severe. I used to live there in college, Sean says, when it comes well, I'm not sure where you're talking about there, but you can let me know, Sean, in a comment later. Marlis, thank you for your sharing of stars. Brenda, what's the forecast for afternoon and night in the Bismarck area? There could be some storms moving out of Montana, depending on what model you believe, late at night, but it's a risk of severe right now. Does not look good. Sean says, I have many weak and leaning trees in Bemidji. Okay, yeah, in Bemidji, a bunch of storms hit there over our stormy stretch from basically mid-June right into mid-July. Deb, good to have you watching on Fargo Moorhead. Thank you very much, Karen, for watching from the Twin Cities. Your weather getting a little bit on the active side as we do. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at that now weather. And I do want to touch on a couple of things going on in our area for now. We're going to look at that convective energy in the atmosphere today. Where you see these pink and red colors, there is a lot of energy that could cause air to go up. Why? That's where the sunshine was today. We had limited sunshine in Fargo that really limited some of the energy available to storms this afternoon and evening. But that energy coming out of South Dakota will be coming our way overnight, and there is still that risk. How severe do you think any tornado forms would be over Minnesota? If there is tornadoes, the risk isn't great out there. We're not expecting an environment that's conducive to these real long-lived tornadoes like they say in the deep south. So I'll let you know that. But that doesn't mean if one forms that they're not dangerous, and they can be. And Emily, when it's at night, it's good to stay informed. Let me show you that next factor in the atmosphere, a little bit of spin in the atmosphere, and this is where that's available. It's a little stronger in South Dakota where you see these yellow values over here, and we do have some spin in the atmosphere at present time as we look across portions of Lakes Country in Minnesota. As the storms move through, just the shape most models are putting on these, and I'll show you some details on that here if you have time, of what it is we're watching. Laura watching from St. Hilaire, but going to the Twin Cities tomorrow. And now, as we take a look at what's going on with regards to our storm systems here, let's take a look at what's called the supercell index and the significant tornado index. So supercells, the best chance, the air that's most dynamic and creating that is going to be in and around Pierce, South Dakota as we head into the evening. That's where the heat is, the high humidity is. And now as we take a look at that significant tornado index, it's in the very similar spot where that up energy in the atmosphere and the spin in the atmosphere is a little bit more conducive to that threat. So you don't see that it's zero out in our neck of the woods, but it's not as strong as we've had in the past. Thank you, Tim, for your appreciation of the work that we're doing here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall today, because we got some great rainfall reports. I'm going to show you the colorful version first, and that's estimates from Doppler radar. It's called STP, Storm Precipitation Estimates by Doppler radar, storm total precipitation. So with the storms that moved through last night, we did have a couple strong ones move through the Aberdeen area, skirting the border down here. And we did get some reports of some hail out there in West Fargo when the storms moved through there, and gusts of wind of about 65 miles per hour. Sean says a strong cap today. Was there a strong cap? What really happened today was the fact that we definitely had a problem with the low level heat not building up as fast. So that was the main problem. I knew when we saw those wet sidewalks and it was still sprinkling in the midday hour, it could impact our chances for having a volatile atmosphere today. Now, as we take a look at this, we do have rainfall amounts across the area here that were pretty nice up in the far northern valley, and the radar estimates here in Marshall County, Minnesota over the last 24 hours showing some good signs, as it's been a very, very dry stretch in northern Minnesota. So from Newfoundland, about 3/4 of an inch measured here. Drop me a note and what was in your rain gauge. See if it's close to what these estimates are. Along the international border, let's go to Hallock. About an inch of rain estimated from the Doppler radar in the Hallock area. Roseau County, by the time you get to Warroad, 1/10 of an inch or so. So there's a little hole in the radar data there. Grand Forks, 2/10 of an inch. Langdon, a good 6/10 of an inch. And as we go up towards Valhalla, 1.1 inches of rain. Now to the south we go. Look at these storms moving into the Wadena area here through Otter Tail County. How about 2.5 to 3 inches? I think I saw a couple of you. 1/2 inch in Bemidji this morning, Sean says. Let's see what it says here as we go back up to Bemidji. 1/2 inch in the Bemidji area seems to be spot on with what the measurement tool is saying here. About 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in and around Bemidji. Park Rapids and points north towards the Cub Scout camp up there, 3/4 of an inch, but the big winners out there in central Otter Tail County with some heavy rain. More is going to be making its way through. Bismarck picked up upwards of 1/2 inch of rain. The Minot area picking up upwards of 1/2 inch of rain as well, estimated by Doppler radar over the last little bit of time. Now let's go to that radar right now and track storms for you. And even if you're watching from the Twin Cities, I'll show you what you got going on. If you throw a question your way, my way, I should say, I'll let you know. And no more tears. A reminder from Judy. Ozzy Osbourne passing away, for those fans of 70s and 80s and 90s and 2000s heavy metal music. So yeah, fan of Ozzy here, and you wish him and his family the best. They're in thoughts and prayers. Cass Lake, Minnesota watching. Okay, and Timothy says family in Bemidji, reside in Matamidi, White Bear Lake. Been out there with my kids for hockey many, many times. So thank you very much. It's always a fun one to try to pronounce that one, but I appreciate you giving me some leeway there, Timmy. Gary says, how are we looking in Redfield and Sisseton for tomorrow? So tomorrow, Sisseton and points south, and even down in the lakes area here, there's going to be that band or a severe weather risk in your area tomorrow. That's the way it's looking. Now let's take a look at what's going on with that radar. I think I thought I double clicked on it, but I must not have clicked fast enough. Sometimes my reaction time isn't fast enough. Okay, here we go. We're filling in the radar sites. We got some Lake Superior showers and thunderstorms there right over the Apostle Islands out there in Wisconsin. You get down here, we got some showers and thunder south of the FM area. There was some hail reported down here, down to the south, where you see this little yellow icon. Change some colors. Let me know if this is easier for you to read. I think it stands out a little more gooder. 1/2 inch hail reported out there, and that was reported 1 mile west of Thunderbird Colony, out there south and west of Aberdeen. So we do have a couple of showers. These are not severe. We do have a risk of severe, but it looks like from the models I was showing, the better chance will come a little later. Now, we are seeing a little bit of thunder and lightning with these cells moving through parts of Kidder County and Burley County, south of Wing and the areas north in northern parts of Kidder County. Glasgow, Montana, and Fort Peck Lake getting some gully washers out there. Montana will take the rain. They could use that for sure in many areas, particularly the Rocky Mountain West. Now, as we look in on the Twin Cities, here's what you got going on. Showers and storms have exited the area for now. You got a nice little break. I do want to show you Frazee at about an inch of rain. Janet, thank you very much. And Janet, I sure hope you're doing well. Hello to you. Thanks for watching. And it was sure good visiting with you this past spring. Judy says we got good rain here in Grand Forks. And Kara says for the rest of the evening, Fargo done, I guess, and missed it. We dodged it. We dodged that early afternoon severe threat, but it's not over yet. So let's go over that forecast one more time to reiterate. Then we'll get to the numbers and then we'll call it an update because I got some more work to do here. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple models. One thing I can tell you is when you look at 4 models and you get 4 widely different solutions, then the confidence in the forecast is way down here, low, low. Okay, so what actually happens tonight is still going to be the possibility that any of these models could be right. I'm going to show you this high-res model that you're looking at right now. So let me load that up here. And when I do, I got to load one up that's going to go out a little bit farther in time. So I'm going to go back a couple of hours here to a model run that will go out farther. So here, how quiet is it through dinner time? That's 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And then shazam, rolling out of the Rockies in the high plains, showers and thunderstorms form. This is a long ways away again, and we're talking midnight as a time frame. But do you see this? Here's a low pressure center and an attending warm front out to the east side of it. And there'll be that spin we were looking at is associated with that particular area. Will the smoke arrive? Denise, I'll answer that smoke question here momentarily. Looks a little better. Looks a little better to me, just as a quick answer for you. Northwest Minnesota and the far northern counties have the best chance at some smoke, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that choking variety. Heading in towards 3, 4 a.m., these storms are moving into the James River Valley, the Devil's Lake Basin, seeing some showers and storms. Still quiet in the Twin Cities. Matamidi out there in White Bear Lake country. Got to tell you, looking pretty good. Now, here we got a model that says, oh, backward C-shape, windy. Wind, I think, will be our main threat as we head into the morning hours, but I can't rule out some hail. The best chance of the big hail is typically in the far southern flank of these storms as they move through. Gusty winds will be making their way through the Bemidji area. I'm sorry I rolled through your area pretty quickly, but this is 7 a.m., and this is 8 a.m. Okay, you get that picture. So it's another morning round of wind and storms for you folks in Lakes Country. And then this storm blows out into the arrowhead of Minnesota. So from, say, Grand Rapids here as we go through around that 9, 10 a.m. time frame, blowing in towards Ely and the North Shore, gets a big burp of wind blasting through there as we go into the mid-morning hours and the midday hours. Don't get very good weather coverage in north central Minnesota, and that's why Hutch is here, and I appreciate your kudos there, Sean. Thank you very much. Timmy, looking good. Thank you very much. All right, now let's take a look. It says, oh, Timmy was in Bemidji when the big one hit. The big windy storm lifted up the back of the Jeep. Oh my goodness, that's a scary feeling. This was model 1. We're going to look at 2 models. There's the second one here. Whoopsie, let's see. Let's click on this one that I've liked. This one did real well during our stormy June and even into early July, and it's had a couple of hiccups here where it hasn't been the best out here. Now let's go ahead and take a look as we go into the forecast period here for, well, this is a little earlier, Tuesday at noon. Let me see if the new one's in. Nope, it's not going to be in yet. The new model from this one won't come in until about 11 o'clock tonight, by the way, just so you know. So we're dealing with some slightly older data, but this model has really done a pretty good job. As we head into the dinner hour on our Tuesday night, here they are coming out of the high country, Wyoming, Montana. This is exactly where the Storm Prediction Center has that risk of severe. All modes of severe weather will be possible in these areas, including that tornado risk that we were talking about here as we go through the early overnight hours. You're looking at 10 o'clock. Now, as we go towards midnight, the storms expand into the North Country here with a chance for some storms. A couple of these even moving in through Grand Forks and Northwest Minnesota could be stout and strong. As we get beyond midnight, the typical trend in our neck of the woods is, by golly, there's a chance that the threat usually diminishes a bit, but these will likely be more windy. See that backwards C shape developing there? So we could get these windy, blowy storms that work their way through as we go into the 3 to 6 a.m. time frame. So again, this is moving into Grand Forks as we go. If you subtract 5 hours from this is Z or Zulu time, so subtract 5 to get Central Daylight Time. That's 1 a.m. So 1 a.m. storms moving into the Grand Forks, moving into the Thief River Falls area, and also out towards northern parts of Beltrami County near the Red Lakes area. And then Fargo-Moorhead seeing a better chance of storms as we cross into 2 to 3 a.m. These exit as we go towards daybreak across parts of western Minnesota with that wind threat continuing, as you saw. So we may have some overnight storms again, and I'll keep my eyes on it as best as possible. And one thing I want to tell you is that with all of these storms, we're dealing with a lot of different weather service offices. Grand Forks, Aberdeen, how about out here in Rapid City and Bismarck, and all the way out in Glasgow and Billings, Montana, and then all the way out towards Chanhassen and Duluth. So there's so many weather service offices here. The best place that you can go to get weather information is hutchesweather.com. And I want to share one thing with you that you may not know about because I don't talk about it frequently. On hutchesweather.com, if you go to the website page here with me, what you're going to notice is that you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page, and my friend Joe, say, thanks, Joe. At the very bottom of the page here, we put together a list of very fine National Weather Service forecast offices that serve our area. You can always go to hutchesweather.com. And if you allow my website to track your location, your warning will show up at the top of the page. So that storm that's heading your way, if it's bugging you, you're going to know about it. So we do have Grand Forks covered, Bismarck, Duluth, Minneapolis, and Aberdeen all on this. And if you would like yours added, I can add more later. But for now, we've got you covered. Hey, my friends at For Love of Dog Rescue could sure use your help here. We've got a link right there to your website where you can help through volunteering or maybe through a little financial support. And I will share a little secret. My good buddy Pedro, I got from For Love of Dog Rescue way back in 2017. And he's been a part of the family here and a part of the forecast crew as well. Your photos gallery is here for you. And I do want to say thanks to my fine sponsors like Dunblazers Painting. If you have exterior or interior painting, give my friends at Dunblazers a call. You can click on this link, by the way. It is a clickable link, and it'll upload my friend's website over there at Dunblazers Painting. They serve the tri-state area. They do interior and exterior. And if you call them and let them know Hutch sent you, he's got your Hutch's discount awaiting. I believe he said that's 10%. So thanks, Sean. Thanks for being a sponsor of Hutch's Weather, and thanks for the work that you do. Sean says, any concerts, car shows, or deck staining coming up? Wow, I do a lot of that kind of stuff every weekend, and I will tell you what, there's some camping coming up on the far northern reaches of the region, so that's a good thing. And there's always car shows around these parts rocking and rolling through the area. So the weekend looking pretty good. Let me get to your forecast so you can make plans. And I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I've been trying to answer a lot of questions. All right, let's see here. Let's go and check out your morning temperatures near 60 to 65. The muggerific air will be down in southern Minnesota and much of South Dakota. And that's where that energy and the heat of the day will allow for those storms to really pop and fire rolling off the high country. But as we start our day, those storms will be burping through our area. And as we go into 7 a.m., which is the snapshot this is, temperatures will be coolest north near the international border. By cool, I mean near 60. Hey, Gary says, thanks, Joe. And I thank Joe each and every day because he rocks and he's put together one heck of a website, in my opinion. Now, as we go into the afternoon, we'll have the chance of showers and storms. I feel like I got to sneeze. Hutch who? Hutch Johnson, that is. Okay, we do have South Dakota thunderstorms and into central and southern Minnesota. A few of those could be strong to severe. Some may clip our southern counties as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. Could be 1 or 2 storms rolling through Glendive, Montana. So keep that in mind out there. But as far as the severe risk goes, that's going to be confined mainly to our southern counties. 7-day planner. So you know what car shows to go to. Go to the ones that are close. How's Leo? Leo is perfect. See what I did there? Yeah, he's got the whiskers. He's doing good. He's not down here with me right now because he's off I think he likes to look at the birds outside. Anyways, warming temperatures after a cooler day on Wednesday. Many of you in the 70s up north will be 80 here in Fargo-Moorhead. It'll be breezy. That wind from the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour. A few gusts, particularly from the Red River Valley and east, over 20 miles per hour. 84 degrees Thursday, as I fix my seeing organs here, the eyeballs, as we go towards 90 degrees. For Friday, we could see a spotty storm there. But look at the heat this weekend. Our next best chance at some organized storms appears to be Sunday. As we go into Sunday afternoon and into the very wee hours of Monday morning, we'll see those temperatures drop like a 2-ton heavy thing heading on out toward the east. That's a look at your weather. Sean, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, everybody. See if I got any more questions. Coots says, Hutch, how nervous do I need to be of the storm popping up near the Wheaton area? So let's go over there. No, I'm not thinking these are going to be have a too good of chance of being severe tonight, or at least right now. Now, I will take a look at what's going on with this storm right now because you asked, and I want to make sure that, well, that's one of the beauties of watching Hutch's weather, right? You can throw me a question. So let me put the radar up here. No, I said the radar. There we go. I don't even listen to myself sometimes. Okay, here we go. So we do have the Wheaton showers and storms starting to fire up. One thing that we can use is how high are these cloud tops up here. So as we take a look at some of the products that we have available here, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so we're going to go up here and we're going to go to the cloud top heights and estimate those. There we go. Let's see if this will load this time. Okay, so we got cloud tops. I think it's thinking, calculating, hoping it's calculating. Okay, so it's ignoring me. So let's go here to wind gusts. Here we go. Now let's go to the there it is. Okay, so for strong thunderstorms this time of the year, we see those strongest storms 45 to 55,000 feet tall in the atmosphere. This says estimated wind gusts. Let's see if I know it says estimated wind gusts, but I'll see if I can put cloud tops up here. And now let's go back over here and go here and go with cloud tops. There we go. Okay, so this is cloud tops. Sorry about that. So in your area, when we look at these values that it's estimating here, it's estimating 13 to 14,000 foot cloud tops. That's not very high out there. So these are some pretty shallow thunderstorms. They're just kind of popping up just a little bit. And there's another way to check this out, and that's on visible satellite loops here. And when we see these little puffy clouds here, you can see the smoke in the atmosphere down here along the South Dakota, southern Minnesota border. That's from the storms that moved through there and this prefrontal energy kind of mixing some of that smoke down near the surface. So you're probably smelling some smoke or at least seeing it there. As we take a look across our area, we're seeing a little bit of vertical development in this. You see how we can see shadows around it? When you see shadows, we got one cloud that's taller than the next one, casting shadows at this time of the day on clouds that are surrounding it. So here you can see the cloud's shadow on the ground. So that's a fairly tall cloud generated there in western parts of South Dakota. So what we have going on right now are just garden variety showers. There's a little bit of puffiness starting to show up on a couple of those cumulus clouds out there near Wilkin County, Traverse County. Hi, my mom wants to know if we're going to get any bad storms tomorrow for Lakefield or Hutchinson. So yes, tomorrow night there'll be a chance for some storms in the Hutch area and out in southern Minnesota. They'll develop here in the afternoon and evening and then drift off towards the Twin Cities the way it looked to me. So that's where our risk will be tomorrow. Coots, that's in your area. Thank you. I'm a little bit nervous about those, or it says paranoid about the tornadoes. Moved here from New York State. So yeah, we get a little bit more wild weather here, not like our friends in Oklahoma or what we call Tornado Alley down there, but it does happen. We have had our EF3s, 4s, and 5s in our neck of the woods. So tonight's main event is likely going to start out here late this evening and start drilling its way across to the east. I'll watch this activity, but as we see, one of the taller clouds seems to be just getting started and forming down here, not far from Oaks, North Dakota. And now when we go back to the radar data, let's check out that storm and see what we got on the radar. And as we do that, let me load that up here. I'm going to use the single site radar data here. And here we go. So now we'll load up the data from, I'll go out towards Aberdeen, I believe. I want to look at them if it will load up. All right. There's our temperatures. So we also can see the impact of our cloudiness that we had today. Look at this temperature range from the Dawson area, 90 degrees. You slip into Fargo, it's 79, 72 in Jamestown. And elsewhere, we have temperatures that are down in the 60s already. Minot at the State Fair, we got 75 degrees, 68 in Belcourt. So there's some cool air on the way, on the horizon, you can say. This energy-laden air here has both heat and humidity with dew points that are pretty high as well. Here's our dew points in the 70s across the region. So our temperatures in the 70s, dew points are in the 70s. If we could get some storms, they're going to form low to the ground, but it's not going to happen until that energy moves out of the high country and into our neck of the woods. Now let's try one more time to load up that radar data. It was not loading for me for whatever reason. I think I might know one reason why. There it is. Now it's going to load. Okay, Shazam. All right, so as we take a look, we actually have a lightning strike here picked up near Britain, South Dakota from this cell that has a taller cloud that we saw on the satellite imagery. Isn't that neat? Kind of an interesting thing. It does look like we got some pink in this Wheaton storm here, which means maybe that storm is starting to grow a little bit more vertically and might be capable of some more intense weather as we work through. Let me loop this for us just a little bit here through time. It'll just give us a little bit of an idea, but I do believe that's just forming. So seeing motion that it's making, it's developing in this same spot, and the cloud is leaning over towards Grant County and the Herman area. So this storm is a building one. It's just getting started right now. It is on that edge where we had that warm air, by the way, too. So if I go turn on some of these surface temperatures here, you're going to see that in Wheaton, it's 82 degrees, and it's a little cooler up in the Wahpeton area right now at 79 degrees, but you definitely have a little bit more energy and heat in the air there for these storms to develop. I hope that answers your question, and that is a look at what's going on right now. So I'll be monitoring these storms as we go through the evening. All of the activity right now is less than severe. We do have some shear in the atmosphere today, and we showed you that in some of the models showing that there is some chances of that. Let me show one more time, just because it's fun, and I would do it after I hung up with our broadcast here anyways, but we're going to go back to this model, and we're going to take a look at the tornado parameter as we go through time. Look at when the tornado or the thunderstorms will be the most active. You're looking at here at about 3 to 4 in the morning. So is there a tornado parameter with these? I'm going to say yes. There's still this warm front looking area there. So there'll be some turning of the air as we go up with height in the atmosphere. So without even looking at the parameter, I think there will be some tornado parameter. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at that, we can look at what's called the significant tornado parameter. And we see that it was strongest near the pier area, and it remains that way. And by the time we get to say, 4 in the morning or 5, that tornado parameter starts to really dissipate and go away. That's a good thing, right? So that's why Hutch says at night, it's not as common to see those tornadoes, and our chance will move more over towards gusty straight line winds and some storms with some hail. There is a tornado parameter on this particular model run, which I'm not certain that I'm going to buy or pay that much for. Let me go ahead and see what the previous model run did. Here we do have some lakes country spin in the atmosphere now. This is right now with what's forming in and around the Wheaton area. So we'll keep our eyes on that storm that's forming near you. And you can bet if anything does happen where it gets a little bit stronger, I'll let you know. We do have some shear showing up a little bit on this. There's a little bit of a hook shape to the radar out near the Hecla area right now. So not sure what that storm looks like out there. Oopsies, I think I moved my radar around. Let me see. Sorry about the funny face. I'm having problems. Okay, here we go. All right, so if we take a look at the velocity display on this particular radar scan, it does allow us to peer into the storm, and the radar can kind of give us an idea of what direction the raindrops are moving from Aberdeen. So the green ones are motion towards Aberdeen and the red motion away. So we look for bright areas of green next to bright areas of red. And I'm not necessarily seeing anything organized with that cell right there in and around Hecla right now. And when we get way out here near Wheaton, we're seeing a little bit more bright reds and greens next to each other. So there might be some spin in the atmosphere regarding this particular storm right now in that Wheaton area. So we'll keep you up to date with that. The clouds are still developing out there, though. That one was a very shallow cloud earlier. It looks like it is showing some signs of some lower level spin in that particular cell. I'm going to take a look at the cameras out there because why not, right? We have them, so let's take a look. I'm going to start with the North Dakota DOT cameras out there at the border and see if we can see anything interesting with that storm at all. So here we are looking from the North Dakota, South Dakota county line. It's dark out there as the clouds are developing. And as you'd imagine, we're just looking a lot more concrete and road out there. Here's Wapit and Breckenridge area, but that storm, we're not going to see that one from there. So now I'll go ahead and take a look at what's going on a Minnesota camera and see if we can see your area from the Minnesota DOT network of cameras out there. Here it comes, and shazam. Okay, so here's your air quality alert, by the way, in Minnesota, the northwest quadrant of the state, including Lake of the Woods and both the upper and lower Red Lake area. Okay, so as we take a peek from this area here, Herman, and we look, we got wet roads, and now we can see these clouds, these little puff balls out there. It doesn't tell me what direction I'm looking, but because I'm seeing bright white clouds shining back at me, I think we're looking in a more easterly direction. The sunlight is bouncing off of them and it's bright white. So that's what my guess is. As we take a look, we got some soggy wet fields out there, and we're looking at the storms maybe forming right here with some lower dark clouds. And if you look way over here in the corner, you can kind of see that the cloud bases are a little bit lower also straight up to the road's edge there. So that one is showing that we definitely have some dark skies there. Looking from the south, well, that camera ain't going to help me because it looks like it's off for a lunch break. So looking from the north, let's see if I can see anything from this particular vantage point. And I'm seeing a lot of dark gray skies out there, but I just can't see any structure to the clouds as of this particular time. So that is all I can see from those DOT cameras right now. We do have some storms making their way through. I'm going to take another look at the Wheaton radar scan here on the latest scan. And yeah, we do have a little bit of shear showing up with that particular storm as it develops. No lightning yet, but it's a building storm that is developing. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. If storms approach your area tonight, I'll keep you posted. This might be the strongest couple near the South Dakota border with both Minnesota and North Dakota here. Those may have a chance at festering up like something on your toenail, under your toenail there might from one time to time. After that, I think we're pretty good until this activity from the west makes its way through. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your question. What does shear mean? Linda, that's a great question. Let me show you. Oh, do I have my shears here? You know, scissors? Scissors do this. That's shearing, right? So when two pieces of metal shear like that, that's shear. Motion in different directions, and that metal just kind of shears things off in between. We have shear with wind. It's called wind shear. If wind at this layer is blowing this way and wind at this layer is blowing that way, that's shear. And in between, we get these little spinning eddies in the air. So wind shear, you feel it on an airplane. You can't see anything out there, but you feel the bumps. That's wind shear causing turbulence that you feel. Shear in the atmosphere causes spinning tubes of air like this that can get sucked up into a thunderstorm updraft and cause a rotating updraft. Those rotating updrafts can create supercell thunderstorms. They don't always create tornadoes, but they can, and that's what we look for. Those are some of the ingredients. That's a wonderful question, and I appreciate you asking. Kathy says, St. Paul dew point is 73. It's definitely tropical there today. Hey, Ethan, good to have you on board. Kathy, thanks for watching. Matthew Jacobs saw nasty clouds in Fargo and some low-hanging ones as well. working your way through. Let's see that regular radar view again. We do have a couple of clouds and thunderstorms starting to form in and around the FM area. And I did get a photo of some pretty cool wave clouds here as I'll take you to Hutch's weather. So we do have some showers and thunderstorms just north of the I-94 corridor and south as you go down towards Otter Tail County in the Pelican Rapids area. A couple of storms starting to develop. That Wheaton storm is stationary, and it looks like it's trying to increase in some strength there as well. So that's what we have going on. And again, your photos are just spectacular. Let's take a look at one more here. These are some clouds that were shared with me from today. This is the James River Valley, and just look at these undulating clouds underneath there, some waveform clouds, which just is a great sign that shows you clouds can be a way to help us see some of the currents that are going on with the wind. We can't look up and see the air move, but when clouds form in that air and we start seeing some of these waves forming, it's pretty incredible to see. I really appreciate Trista for sharing that photo on hutchesweather.com. It doesn't have to be bad weather. We can have fair weather clouds out there. And this photo shared by Tiffany Qualley. Thank you so very, very much, from the Essential Hospital out there looking across the skies of South Fargo. And of course, you got to get along with these ones. Thanks, Julia, for sharing your photos as well. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I appreciate it. We got a tornado warning. Okay, I think this might be for the storm you're watching, Traverse County. We're live. Would you please share with a friend that we are live? There is a tornado warning. We're going right back to the radar. That storm was spinning, and now let's see what the Weather Service says. We're going to get down in there. There was some spin with that storm. Thank you for asking. A tornado warning has been issued for this area until 7:30. It's 6:47. This is for 3/4 inch diameter hail potential. That hail core starting to build. Here's the little hook right here, and that's where the tornado could be. This doesn't tell me if, oh yes it does. It says radar indicated tornado. I've been talking about the spin that we're seeing, so we'll go and show you exactly where that is. So it's clear as something clear. Here's Hutch's crayon. I get the crayon out, you know it's serious. We're looking at the radar that is located in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So as we go ahead and let's see if I can turn on my crayon. There it is. Erase it. This is wind blowing away from the radar in red. So this bright red area is the wind that's blowing away, and there's bright green immediately next to it. This is the bright green that we're seeing there. This is located just north of the Wheaton area. If you are in Wheaton, you are not necessarily in the tornado warning, but it's a very, very close one to you. It will be moving in the general direction of Tinta and Norcross. I am right now going to the National Weather Service page here to, I have communications directly with them, see if they've gotten a report. There's a picture of some storms that I'm seeing here, but no, I am not seeing anything on the Grand Forks page there. Let's go to the Aberdeen page. Sometimes we get reports of what's going on from other offices, so I'm just kind of glancing around and taking in the information. I'm not ignoring you. Thank you for your patience. All right, so if you are in the path of this storm in rural portions of Traverse County, this is a tornado warned storm. It's a dangerous one. Tinta toward Norcross and the areas just outside of Wheaton. That's where this storm is located. As the crow flies, we'll take a look at how far north of Wheaton it is. Here's center part of town, and the rotating part is only 3.6 miles to the northwest, likely visible from your area. So tornado warning for you folks near Wheaton and in the rural portions near Highway 75 and rolling out towards the Norcross and Tinta areas at this particular time. So that escalated quickly, but we were talking about those chances. The first thing I looked at, I was seeing that this was a very low cloud and it wasn't very high in the atmosphere. And then we looked at the satellite and it started showing a little bit of shadowiness there. So that's a dangerous storm. That one, I want you to get into the basement of a sturdy structure. If your structure doesn't have a basement, I want you in the interior room, staying away from those windows, because these storms here tonight are going to have this threat, particularly early on, at seeing a couple of tornadoes forming. So we do have that still showing that sign of a potential tornadic storm. Right here's the rotation. It's still evident. Do you see the bright reds? And the bright greens are a little farther apart in this particular scan, but that's a dangerous rotating storm heading toward the Highway 9 corridor right now. Now, the motion of this particular storm is, whoopsie, so I'm going to have to turn this line thing off. It keeps, the motion of the storm is moving to the east, northeast at only 14 miles per hour. That may change just a little bit here, folks, as it begins to move. The storm was in the same spot for quite some time. So that speed may change. So I'm going to throw a little caution to the wind. I'm going to say 20 miles per hour. So if this is moving east-northeast at closer to 20 miles per hour, it'll be near Norcross by 7:26. Norcross, that storm was heading towards you and the Highway 9 corridor north of Herman as we approach the Grant County border there here by the time we get to about 7:20. So it's mainly over the rural portions of the county right now. Again, the National Weather Service during this live broadcast issuing a tornado warning. Hutch, is this storm heading east northeast my way, Vining? It is moving in a general east-northeasterly direction. You can see that better on my second radar product that I have available up here. You can kind of see that really what I was talking about, it being stationary, that it's mostly stationary. It's just now developing. It's in the same spot and it hasn't moved. And if you look at the timestamp ends at 6:48 and it starts at about 6:20. It's about 20 to 30 minutes worth of time stampage here on this tornado warned storm. And just so you're clear here, this is a radar indicated tornado. It is not necessarily on the ground, but this storm has had a persistent and consistent rotation now for some time as it continues to build in the same spot. So its movement is slow, moving east-northeast at about 15 miles per hour or so. And it's something that we want you to be taking cover now for. So again, if you are in the northeastern quadrant of Traverse County, that's where the threat is with this particular storm. Again, a radar indicated tornado right there in Traverse County near Wheaton right now. I will take a look at the DOT cam, and I'm going to look from the South Dakota side of the border there. I know there's one at Victor, which isn't too awful far from that. And this may be visible if there isn't too much smoke in the sky. So bear with me while I switch over to that really quickly. Here we go, South Dakota. And as we take a look at the South Dakota DOT site here, we should be able to see if this is going to give us any kind of assistance in seeing the Wheaton area. Let's start with the Victor area camera. I'm having problems clicking on it for some reason. There, no. Okay, I'm going to go with another camera. These camera icons are so small, my big mouse pointer isn't working on it. Okay, so here we are looking from the Sisseton area. This is a ways away out there, as you can see. This is looking down the I-29 corridor that you see over my shoulder here as we're looking off in the distance. Now, as we take a look, this says, doesn't give me a direction. As we take a look down the interstate, I believe that's looking south. We're definitely seeing some dark skies there. This is probably the storm cell on the right side that we're seeing that little tail come out of. So I'm pretty confident that that's the direction that we need to look. That's more northerly, and you're looking on I-29, and want to look out to the east. Let's see if we have a view to the east. We don't have too good of a view, I don't believe, to the east. It's a little bit lower to the sky. So not able to see it on that camera view. I'm going to effort once again to get to this Victor, South Dakota location and see if I can pull up that camera. Can't do it. So I'm going to go to another place where I've got a few photos, and let's see what I can look at here. We're going to take a look at this as the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network. I know it says North Dakota, but I'm going to look as close to that area in southeast North Dakota as I can. And let's look in Minnesota and see what we got. Fairborn, Culver, Brown County, Minnesota. Everything's looking a little bit sunny. Here's Traverse County, and this is Beardsley. This is looking east from Beardsley. You can see that these are very shallow clouds like we were talking about there just a little bit earlier, but the one that's formed in the Wheaton area is just a little bit taller. Now we're looking west, but this is Waseca, so that's a different camera altogether. That's not going to be too helpful. I'm going to jump over the state line and look in southeast North Dakota. We'll see if I've got there's a Morton view Richland County from Sonora looks dark, and the Milner area and Sargent County. So as we look from Sargent County, you can just see how dark the skies are there off in the distance. And this one does tell me it's looking off to the west. So that would not be helpful for the particular storm we want to look at. This is also looking west from the Sonora area in Richland County. And again, there are some storms along the border down there. So we're not going to be able to see what it is we're looking at. And Castleton, you said dark skies in and around the FM area. There's the sun, so you must be looking toward the west northwest, and you got these low clouds starting to develop, and you can't see the light on the low side of those clouds, and that would indicate some rain shower and thunder shower activity going on there. So unfortunately, I'm not able to see too much. Here's a look from Prosper in Cass County, looking off to the west. Again, looking more at what's coming in the general direction from the west as opposed to what's going on in south, off to the south into Minnesota. The spin on this is getting stronger, so let's go back to the radar here. The spin on the storm, the rotation looks to be a little stronger. Why am I saying that? We're seeing some bluer colors here. And those would indicate some a little bit stronger velocity type winds here. So the blue is incoming wind at 56 miles per hour, and it's fairly close to some pixels that are outgoing at 20. So there is still that spinning couplet. That couplet is located just north of the interstate. A couplet is that little area of rotation that we're looking at right here. And that couplet sits just 2 miles to 3 miles north of Highway 27, off to the east of the Wheaton area. So that's your tornado warning right now in this area. Let's see. Gordon says, I feel much better informed with your weather coverage than anything on television. Thank you, Gordon. I do appreciate that. Peg, thank you for being a part of the broadcast tonight as well. Hey, Brenda likes the shirt. Thank you. I threw this one on. It's been a very, very, very busy day, and I didn't get all suited and tied up today. So thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on elsewhere. Well, that's still spinning pretty good there, just so you know. Do heed the warning for this particular storm system that is working its way off to the east-northeast. It's still moving at only about 15 miles per hour, and it is heading in the general direction of you and Norcross out there. So that Grant County line will have a chance at seeing this storm making its way through. So I don't think I have any other video view or other way to confirm what's going on there. Let me take a look at the cells that were along the South Dakota border here. Go into the single site radar data, and that cell that was near Hecla has really faded as it's moved off to the east. These are just garden variety showers here. Nothing to see here, folks, at this particular time. So the heater, the main event in our area and heading off to the east, is off in Otter Tail County. We see a couple of cells now starting to advertise some lightning. And look at this bolt in the middle of nowhere out here. Now that cloud definitely is in the area, but we've got a bolt on the outside of that updraft. Those are usually pretty strong ones. This was 9 minutes ago that lightning strike happened out there, and that was in southern Grant County, right over Herman. So that's from this other cell. It could be a couple of different unique individual thunderstorm cells here forming, one in Grant County and one over there in Traverse County. Zooming in on Lakes Country up here, if you're in Pelican Rapids, Highway 108, right out there toward the state park, you want to make sure that you're keeping your eyes on the weather situation. It looks like the Dent storm here is the strongest with its reflectivities, meaning possibly a little bit more in the way of some small hail with that. But Pelican, you're getting the thunder and lightning there 2 minutes ago, and 6 minutes ago we have a couple of strikes showing up on Hutch's old lightning detection network here. So as we take a look elsewhere in northern parts of Stutsman County, easing nerves. It's been a long summer in Stutsman County. The damage incredible in these areas from the wind storm called the derecho that moved through, as well as the tornadoes that swept through. Bemidji, same thing. Now, these batches of storms, by the way, are moving off to the east. So Grant County, Douglas County, a chance for some storms in and around your area here. We'll see how this one does. Do you think the Twin Cities will be hit real early in the morning with these doozies? All right, so There's a chance, but what we were seeing is the morning storms have a better chance of hitting. I'm just going to use my pencil. Let me get my Crayola out. The area of concern for overnight tonight is all the way from Wyoming and Montana to this area here, through Grand Rapids, Brainerd, Bemidji, the Red Lakes area, and into the North Shore. Do I think that we could see storms in the Twin Cities? Yes, but the chance is much greater up here of seeing those windy storms in the morning. It's tomorrow night, Kathy, that you'll have tomorrow afternoon and night when the threat for your area returns. So if we take you to a view of the storm risk for tonight and I zoom out, you're going to get a view of, well, let's go to the national view. Yeah, I'll erase my crayon. Okay, so nationally speaking, this is where we have a risk of severe weather today. A little small chance of a few storms being severe, possibly in the Carolinas and Atlanta, Georgia. As we look in our area from Billings, Montana, right through areas north of the Twin Cities is where that risk is for tonight. Oops, I got to put my crayon away, put it back in the box like I never remembered to do in kindergarten. Okay, here we go. There we are. So now we've got the best chance of storms tonight. This one's forming right here, and it's moving in the direction that this line would tell us, more to the north and to the east there. Yikes, says Peg and Bagley, and they're camping in Bagley. So Peg, this is a wonderful example of what I want you to keep in mind. Know where there is sturdy structure. Ask your friends in Bemidji from the windstorms that happened before. I'm not forecasting that that's what will happen. But if severe thunderstorms are starting to create strong straight line winds overnight, you don't want to be in a tent or even a camper doesn't offer very much support. So know where there's a sturdy structure. Maybe there's a shower house on the campground. If you have to travel somewhere to get to safety, then I would keep an eye on hutchesweather.com to monitor the storms. Tomorrow, morning storms will be here. These will mainly be in the morning. Storms are going to be rolling out of the high country and rolling through our area, and they could be windy. We have a tornado warning continuing for Traverse County. The storm continues to spin and slowly creepy crawl its way across the county towards Grant County, where we have some Herman, thunder and lightning, day 2 risk. This is for you in the Twin Cities area because you asked. This is where the national risk of severe weather will be from Nebraska through the Sioux Falls, Sioux City areas here, southern Minnesota, including areas like Rochester and on towards Hutchinson and out towards St. Cloud, the Twin Cities, all of northern portions of Wisconsin, including our fine friends in Wausau, Eau Claire, way up north near Ashland, not far from the Apostle Islands here, and you get up into the UP, and I'm not joking, those storms will be a rolling towards you, Sault Ste. Marie. This is all taking place tomorrow and mainly tomorrow night. The tornado in Wheaton is true, question mark. Yeah, there is a tornado warning. I have no confirmation at this juncture whether it's on the ground or not. I'll effort to look right now. Tornado warning issued. Storm chasers noted rotating wall cloud. Okay, so the Weather Service is in touch with the storm chasers out there. There are a few people that are observing and noting a rotating wall cloud on a storm with some tight rotation. So that's what's going on. Okay. All right. Yeah, good. Peg, I'm glad that you'll pay attention now because planning ahead of time helps you out if, you know, things get a little bit nasty overnight. You want to know where you can go to be safe. So another couple of tips. Not that a camping spot will let you do this, but observing your surroundings can be helpful as well. Tonight, our gusty winds will likely be coming out of the west and toward the east, or out of the southwest and toward the northeast. So if that's the case, if Hutch was camping, I would look for places where I'm not going to have a tree fall on my camper from the west, okay, because the winds will be coming from the west. You want to kind of protect yourself from that kind of stuff. If I had a choice of where I was camping, I've done this before, but I knew storms were coming with west winds that would be more likely. So I, was camping in a camper and went to a Walmart parking lot and was on the other side of the building from the strong west winds. Thinking ahead like that. So tonight's winds, can't guarantee it'll be from the west. It's more likely that it will be. If you're in a big long camper and you got a fifth wheel trailer behind your truck, well, my suggestion is to point it into the wind like you're traveling down the road. It's a little bit more aerodynamic that way, and the winds blow over the car and not blow the camper over and sideways. Some planning on that end can help, but you can't always guarantee that that is exactly the way the wind will blow during the storms. With this setup, the winds will most likely be blowing from the west tonight. Let's get back to the tornado warned storm. We're going to start by taking a look at the what we call storm relative velocity. That's what this SRV that you see on Hutch's radar here is. The warning does continue. I believe it's till 7:30, if I'm not mistaken. There's still the reds and the greens next to each other. Bright green means it's a stronger wind blowing towards Aberdeen. The red means it's showing that the wind blowing away from the radar is a little weaker. But the fact that the red and the green are immediately next to each other is telling, in the sense that that's where the shear is. There's the latest scan. Looks like that red and green disappeared, but did it? So meteorologists, what we like to do is keep our eyes on things like this. A radar is measuring not a horizontal slice through the atmosphere like my hand is running, but it's looking at this vertical slice because it's pointed up at an angle. So we get this tilted slice of what the cloud is looking like. Raindrops give us the information that these radar beams bounce off of, and hailstones and such. And we can tell how strong the return is. Let's go up a little higher to a higher elevation angle. Boom, it's back. Let's go a little higher. The shear and the spin is in this storm still, even on the third elevation angle up, fourth. Now it's starting to get muddled, okay, and gone. So this is a shallow storm. It's not very tall. I can tell by the fact that I'm going up 2.5 degrees here, and it's not showing me anything as far as the data up very high, not even raindrop data. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at what's called the radar measuring tool. Your radar is located in Aberdeen that I'm using right now. This storm and the center of rotation is right here. This is at a range of 89.5 nautical miles from the radar site, tilted up at an angle. The curvature of the Earth goes away from it. Yep, the Earth has curvature to it. And that means the radar beam gets even higher and higher and higher the farther away from the radar it gets. So the radar data you're looking at is coming from an elevation of 10,400 feet, about 2 miles up. Okay, so it's 2 miles up above the ground, and that's the lowest slice through the cloud that we can get. So we can't really see with radars, particularly far away from the radar, what's happening below the cloud. And that is why we rely on you and even you. Yeah, we need it from you because you're taller and you're way up there. So this is 2 miles above the ground. We're seeing the rotation in there. I thought that was kind of a fact that maybe can help you understand that just because it's showing spin on the radar doesn't mean it's a tornado on the ground, but we want you to take precautions. Kathy and Peg, thank you so very much. I'm really honored for all of the support that you've provided me here on my YouTube channel. I guess I call them tips. I don't know what you call them, but by golly, it goes a long way towards helping Hutch build. I have been saying there's some exciting announcements coming soon, and if you're new to Hutch's Weather, these are going to be real exciting announcements. So now that's the only game in town in our neck of the woods here. We got a pretty shallow thunderstorm cloud here. That is, I don't believe it's a 50,000 footer yet, but it's growing a little bit. Let's see if the cloud tops icon works here. Boom. Yes, it is getting taller. Oh, our little cloud is growing up. Okay, so let's take a look at how tall these clouds are. The reds is likely 50,000. This small little thunderstorm grew from about 14,000 foot cloud tops to 50,000 foot cloud tops right outside of Wheaton. So when our guest on Hutch's Weather on my YouTube channel, I've lost your name, but you were asking, is this storm near Wheaton bad? It was a 14,000 foot cloud. It didn't have too much shear, but we looked at it and it was showing some, and I mentioned that, but it was a shallow cloud. Look at it grow now. Wow. I mean, wow, that is a big, tall thunderstorm cloud. Looking at the rest of the clouds within range of this radar, not showing the same type of growth. Why is this one growing? We showed you that as well. Who can answer that? It's because of the heat and humidity. So there's more heat and energy out here. Jarlin 23, do I have anything to worry about in Campbell? I had the alert go off, but there's no wind here. So let's go ahead and see if I can answer your question too. Oh, and thank you very much, Coot. Yep, that's me. I'm scared in Elbow Lake. Okay, well, if you're nervous in Elbow Lake, this storm is really slow moving, 14 miles per hour. We'll keep our eyes on it. And it sounds like there's chasers on it. Why is that important? If something touches the ground, the chasers are going to let us know now that it's on the ground. And then it becomes more of an urgent warning. So we'll kind of continue to keep you in your safe spot now. You should be. If you're in Traverse County and the extreme western edges of Grant County, I would seek shelter in that interior room. Lowest floor. Put as many walls between you and the debris from the potential tornado as you possibly can. So all right. So as we take a look at what's going on too, you see that the radar is showing that this storm here is really impacting a fairly small part of the county, right? And that's one of the benefits of National Weather Service warnings going to this more just polygon shape instead of warning the whole county. We can even tell inside this polygon where the rotation is. Here we've got a little bite taken out of the storm. That's likely where the rotating part of the storm is. Here's the hail core, the updraft. That hail core is being provided to you by a very strong updraft. So there'll be some hail about halfway between Tinta and Norcross moving through. Norcross, you are right in the path of this dangerous and rotating storm right now. So that's where it is. That's where it's moving. I'm going to take a look at another product that can help Hutch look inside the cloud droplets at each droplet and determine whether the droplets are oblong shaped or perfectly round shaped and some information about them. That can help us see if there might be possibly some debris in the air near the rotation. Do you see the blue? That's different. The blue on this is target similarity. That's a low similarity. A low value of similarity means we have horizontal and vertical pulse data that's coming back that's different. It's not similar. And that could be from an oblong shaped object. Could be an oblong shaped hailstone. Those aren't too likely, although we do get some oblong shape. Raindrops are more oblong shaped. They have more of a pancake shape. So they give us a little bit of this. But when it gets blue like that, that can sometimes indicate, particularly when it is in the same spot as the rotation is, that there may have been something picked up by the storm there. It's not a big area of it, and it's not crystal clear that a tornado is on the ground to me because I've seen signatures that are way stronger than that. Now we're looking at target differences, the change in reflectivity specifically. So we're looking at how much energy is reflected back by a target. So between a horizontal pulse and a vertical pulse. So there's a high difference in the same area as the rotation is showing up in those places. And that can be done when we have the different beams giving us different reflectivities back, that there could be some debris possible in this particular area. I'm going to look at the Weather Service's data and see if they've gotten any word on that. And see. Okay, no. So no new news is good news, but stay in your tornado warned areas. The warning does continue. Let me switch my selector on here until 7:30. So it is for the next 14 minutes. 1-inch hail now is possible. So that's been updated, and it's moving still east-northeast, 61 degrees. 0 degrees is moving north. 90 degrees is moving due east. So it's moving at a angle of 60 degrees, we call it. Okay. Locations, Emmanuel Church. So now that I know the motion, let me go ahead and give you an idea of where the rotating part of the storm is going. Here's the rotating part. Oh, I need to switch that back over. Here we go. Well, come on here. All right. There we go. Rotating part right here, moving east. about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Norcross by 7:39, that rotating part of the storm will be in your area of Grant County, crossing over the highway corridor there. So we're looking at Highway 9. That looks to be the rotating part of the storm right here. I know you're in the warning up here, but do you see the gray? That's the hail. That's the hail. So the hail core is moving in more of a direction to impact you folks near and just south of Tinta. So here's Tinta, here's the hail core, boom, that's moving that way. So that's what's moving your way. You got till just after 7:30 for this storm to be in your area. We'll see if the warning does continue. But for now, the tornado warning is in effect, and it's best to make sure that you're in your sturdy structure. That's what's going on. Let me see if I've got any more feedback from you, and I'll keep you updated to what's going on. I think we'll go ahead and do a little forecast update too. How was my 4th of July? Ethan, my 4th of July was fantastic, but we had some terrible storms in and around the area on that holiday as well. But it was wonderful, and I hope yours was as well. Stephen, Rocky, Singleton, hello from Wyoming. Good to have you. What part of Wyoming are you from? Beautiful Lusk, Casper, Cheyenne. I worked in Cheyenne back in my earlier years for a while. Randy says, is there still expected storm development by Fargo or just south of Fargo? There is some storms north of Fargo. If you see here on this radar data view, and I'll put that back your regular radar view, so the one you're used to seeing. And what we have here are very lightning-prone storms moving through northern Otter Tail County between Fergus and Perham, moving right along that Highway 108 corridor there, east of Pelican Rapids. South of the Carrington area, a line of showers and storms are not severe, and the risk of those puppies becoming severe, not that great right now. The main threat for us is going to come late tonight, and it's going to come out of places like Wyoming. Like Stephen Rocky Singleton says, I got the NOAA weather radio stations. That away, Stephen. That's wonderful. Let me know, Stephen, when you get a chance, if you hear this, what town you're in out there in beautiful Wyoming. Thank you so much. Now let's go out to the radars out to the west, because this is where our activity will come from. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at the forecast model? And to do this, I've done this a couple times on this long-winded update of mine here, just to make sure everybody knows that the main threat right now is the isolated tornado warning that's taking place out there in the Traverse County area, not far from Wheaton. Now, as we look at this model updates every single hour. It does have a little bit of thunderstorm activity out there. The fact that it updates every hour does not make it more righter, though. Okay, so if you look at this isolated activity, it does expand in and toward the Twin Cities as we go through the evening. Okay, so that just kind of dances through St. Cloud and the I-94 corridor. Ethan says, good 4th, St. Cloud for the 4th, and visiting some family. Good. Watch what's moving out of the high country out here. Now, this is midnight. So at midnight, the model says there might be some storms there. Things kind of expand, and windy thunderstorms as we go into the morning could be pushing through southeast North Dakota and northwest and west central parts of Minnesota. So what we have going on now, this model says this is the solution. Not necessarily buying it, though. I'm going to look at one more. We have not looked at this one yet. This one will not update again until 11 o'clock. So here we go. This was our Tuesday. Boom, 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 boom. We go through the day. And here it has storms forming right where we have them now, okay, as we approach the 7 o'clock time frame. And it just kind of meanders those through and kind of blows them up in Lakes Country to a windy event that makes its way along the Highway 10 corridor, pushing toward Duluth and rumbling on through the overnight hours before making its way through. So this one has a low pressure system here moving through, and boom, it really enhances itself as it moves its way. And the time frame on this is first thing, wee hours of the morning. We're talking about 2 o'clock in the morning for a chance of those making their way through. Now we'll take a look at one more model here. And then I think what we'll do is I will confirm or deny whether this tornado warning is going to be continued by the National Weather Service and move through. This is a model that I think has done a better job of keeping track of storms over our active summer that we've had here in the Northern Plains. This model shows storms as we go towards 10 o'clock forming in South Dakota. We can confirm that by dialing this back to about the 7 o'clock hour. Do we see a storm out here on the Montana-Wyoming border right now? So I will go ahead and look at that. If that is the case, it's one way to confirm that this old model is doing pretty good. Now, don't say no yet, because we got to turn the radar on out there. There is one, but it's a little farther west than it was showing. It's out in the Sheridan area. So in the area of the Devil's Tower, Gillette, out in this Newcastle area, we got some storms being detected by the model there that are firing up now. Those are the ones that are expected to make their way into our area on this particular model. So isn't it interesting to see one model can be right on one thing and wrong on the other? So Stephen Rocky Singleton, the birthday is on July 4th. Wow. Well, I hope you had a wonderful birthday out there as well. So here I'm getting some. All right. Very good. Okay, so that's what's going on. I will get back down to our active tornado warning for our viewers out there, because I do know there's a few of you watching right there from Grant County. This is a active tornado warning. Look how different this radar view looks. This is often what you'll see on many radar apps. This is often what you'll see on the newscast at night. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It's what's called more of a composite radar scan. It's taking data from multiple radars and painting the picture. But it's also got a lot of smoothing that's going on with it. So this is not the best radar view to actually detect what's going on and where the rotation is. For that, Hutch likes to use the single site radar data right from the radar site. And it looks more pixelated, but it has more information. Here's our little bite taken out of the storm. Okay, so that's where the rotation was. Here's our hail core, and it's just now fixing to work its way over the Highway 9 corridor north of you folks in Norcross. Let me please go back and take a look at the velocity here. And there, it's really still very strong velocity signature right here, just off to the east of Norcross. And I mentioned that that would be in the path of the storms right there. So let me give you some measurements here as to how far away it is. Let's go here. Okay, so it's about 5 miles to the west of Norcross is the rotation on this storm, moving at 15 miles per hour. So you got about 15 to 20 minutes. I can hear Pedro. Can we see him? Jennifer, he's right down here. Where are you, Pedro? He's, I think he's itching to go outside, no pun intended. So I will have to take a little bit of a siesta here, or a rest here, to take care of that, and I will be back. But let's go ahead and finish the conversation on this. This is straight velocity. Let's go and take a look at the storm relative, where it factors in the wimpy motion of this storm at 14 miles per hour. And we still see the spin right here moving towards Norcross. So this storm's still showing evidence of some pretty tight rotation. Tyler, thank you for your sharing of stars on my Facebook page. Stars go towards helping Hutch build for the future. And that's, well, our future together, right? Because you get to ask questions. Thank you so much. Ozzy Osbourne, legend, has passed away. Stephen Ray Singleton, that is absolutely true, and that's kind of a heartbreaker. It's been something that many folks have followed Ozzy in his career, and I gotta tell you, it's sad. It's a sad day. Let's see here. I'm trying to. I do have a comment on my YouTube channel in Espanol. Hutch did take 1 year of Espanol in high school, but I'm not very good at reading it fluently. So in that light, I am going to translate that to English and see how well I can do. So let's do that. And let's go here and see if I can. I hope that before I leave here, the conditions will be favorable for August 12th. In the basin. Are you talking the Great Basin? I'm not sure where you are at there, Jay, but thank you for your comment. Gracias. Much appreciated. All right, Kathy says you're the best. That storm is slow in Traverse County, and it is slow. That storm is very slow, and it's moving at 14 miles per hour. So let's get Norcross and your area an idea of exactly when it will be there, and I'll estimate that based on where the rotation is. This area right here is the leading edge of the rotation where I'm drawing it. Moving this way at 14 miles per hour to 15 miles per hour. It will be in Norcross. I've been saying 736, 734. It looks like 9 or 10 minutes it will be near you. So you'll be needing to get into your storm shelter in Norcross. There is not an active tornado warning for your area, but this is a pretty dangerous storm with rotation throughout. Taking a look at the hail threat. The hail threat's more on the north side as we were discussing moments ago. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and we'll go ahead and look at that together here with the hail threat being right here. Okay, so now you can clearly see where the hail is, and it's over Highway 9 right now, pushing into Grant County. I do have a tool that helps me estimate some of the hail size potential with this puppy, but let's see if I can go ahead and do that here. This is estimating the hail probability is 100% chance of hail, but it's going to be most likely that that hail will be 1.5 inches, but the severe hail probability is 1 inch hail. So there is a 60% chance, or 60% of this area may get about 1 inch diameter hail, or up to 1.5 inch diameter hail. That's some pretty significant hail. So here is the hail core in the blues that you see there, and those bright, vibrant pinks. That hail core is right here, the leading edge. It's moving off to the east-northeast. It's moving at about, well, 15, 16 miles per hour. Elbow Lake will be in the path of that, but it's a long ways away. Now this storm warning and storm started developing as I started this broadcast out, and that was right after 6 p.m. So I've been going for an hour and a half here. Wheaton, it was forming near you, and it's taken that long, an hour and a half, to get across the county. It was just developing. It wasn't a real big boy thunderstorm yet, but now it's a 50,000 footer. Aaron that's asking about storm chasers. I did see that storm chasers confirmed a rotating wall cloud on this storm, with the also data showing that we've got rotation showing up on the Doppler data. They have issued a not a severe thunderstorm warning, but a tornado warning for the storm. So I do believe so. Brenda says Pedro's and Pedro ran upstairs. So I think he's heading upstairs right now, and I'll be letting him outside here very shortly. We should know in the next minute or two if the National Weather Service plans on keeping this warning. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at their site here. So, all right. So let me see if any of you have sent me any type of confirmation of activity going on. If you happen to be near this storm and it is safe for you to do so, I invite you to upload a photo to hutchesweather.com. So I do have a couple of photos here from the Fargo-Moorhead area here. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing photos. I'll put that up here on the site, and we'll go ahead and go update for that one. Thank you very much. Looks like some wavy looking clouds over our area too. So that is indeed, Nathan, a cute cloud picture for sure. Thank you for uploading it at hutchesweather.com. So we'll keep our eyes on this particular storm. The warning does expire here in moments. Let's see. Okay, very good. Seeing if I've got any other feedback here. I got to check all these channels of feedback. I've got website, emails, you name it. It's all out there. So it's best to get a hold of me on the live streams. If you're watching and type something in, I've got those channels open right away. I don't always see every email or Facebook Messenger post. So those sometimes I don't see until the next day. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for the area of the storm, it looks like. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this means now. It's inside the tornado warn box, and it looks like it will replace the thunderstorm warning for the core of the storm. So let me go ahead and delete the track. Let me see what this says. Thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock tonight. 7 miles per hour is the movement. It says tornado possible now. So don't be surprised if a funnel cloud or tornado is sighted with this particular cell. They were warning it for 1 inch hail and some 50 mile per hour or less winds. So hail is the main threat with the storm right now, although a tornado cannot be ruled out with that storm as it works its way off to the east. With that, I will show you one more time here before I take a break to get some water and let Pedro outside, what's going on with our velocities. So here we go. The velocity on the storm is still showing on the far south side, moving into Norcross, that there could be some rotation. If you are in Norcross or just north of it, I would stay in the interior room away from the windows. This is a rotating storm. The National Weather Service has said a tornado is possible. Gusty winds are not the main threat. Hail is the main threat. That's going to be north of Norcross, but south of Tinta, crossing the Highway 9 corridor. That's moving in the general direction of you folks in Grant County and Elbow Lake. For now, that is the only severe thunderstorm that we have in our particular area. As we look at the regular radar data, it really is the strongest. Some healthy thunderstorm cells are in and around the Perham area right now on the Highway 10 corridor between Detroit Lakes and Perham. Those storms there, if I turn on the single site data, I think I'll switch back over to the radar here in Mayville. I think my radar's tilted. There we go. Let's go here. Okay, so this will switch over now. We should be able to see these storms here. As you can tell, none of that blue or pink business in those. We have just garden variety strong thunderstorms here. We could see some hail from these. Let me see if there's some hail cores. It's not picking out a ton of hail cores with them. There is some light. There is a little bit of hail up there near Frazee and points north. That's possible, but the risk of severe hail is very low, and it'll be under half-inch diameter hail potential from that storm based on the estimate from the radar. So, new warning though for you folks in Elbow Lake, tornado possible. This warning has just been extended, so it now is inclusive of the entirety of southern and central parts of Grant County, Minnesota. So if you're in Elbow Lake, areas north of Herman and the Norcross area in particular, this hail producing storm is going to be making its way towards you. Hail will be the main threat, 1.5-inch diameter. Tornado possible. Right now, if there's going to be a tornado with this, it's going to be on the south half of this. So if you want to keep an eye on that south half as it works its way through. I'm going to watch this closely, but for now, I am going to duck out, and I will be back throughout the evening. Let's see. Thanks, Ethan, for the movie idea there. Thanks to everybody. Nonstop Thunder in the West in Hoffman here. Russ, thank you for your report. That storm is rocking a lot of thunder and lightning. I'm not seeing a lot on the lightning detection network, so it might be cloud to cloud or intercloud lightning, maybe not necessarily cloud to ground strikes. So that's what's going on right now across the area. A few non-severe storms north of Interstate 94, Lakes Country, Otter Tail, Becker County, seeing storms rocking around that Highway 10 corridor. Some thunder and lightning, heavy rain, and small hail potential. The main event heading to Grant County. This is not the only event. Overnight storms are going to be likely. I better save some gas in the tank for you. But for now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson, thanking you for watching, thanking you with all my heart for your support of stars and of gifts on YouTube. Thanks so very much. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Grant County, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 8:30. Hail 1.5 inches in diameter. Wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. Follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll be back.